In our previous class, we discussed about the nomenclature of carbon compounds. Today we are going to discuss about functional derivatives of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means the carbon compounds which contains hydrogen and oxygen on hydrogen and carbon only. Functional derivatives of hydrocarbons are compounds which are derived from hydrocarbons by replacing one or more hydrogen atom with the functional group. In hydrocarbon, we remove one or two hydrogen atom and add a functional group. This type of compounds are known as functional derivatives of hydrocarbons. A functional group is an atom or a group of atoms which is responsible for characteristics properties of a compound. In the case of carbon compounds, hydrocarbons, we remove one hydrogen or two hydrogen and add an atom or a group of atoms. This atom or group of atoms changes the characteristics properties of that carbon compounds. That means it shows a totally different property by adding a functional group to a carbon compound. The double and triple bonds are functional groups. It changes alkane to alkene or alkyne. This also changes the properties of that compound. So we can take the double and triple bond as a functional group. The other examples, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. are examples of functional groups. It is a single atom. We known as this group, we known as halogen group. So by adding these atoms, the carbon compound changes its properties. For example, this is methane. This is methane. We know this is methane. Here also I have hydrogen, but by replacing this hydrogen, we can give here chlorine or bromine, etc. etc. So it shows a totally different properties from methane. This compound is known as chloromethane or bromomethane. Chloromethane shows a totally different properties from methane. That is what we are going to discuss in detail in this chapter. Each of these functional group exhibits the characteristics, properties and reactions. All the compounds having the same functional group shows the same chemical reaction and it constitutes a class of compounds. For example, chloromethane, chloroethane, chloropropane, which have the halo, that means chloro functional group. So it is known as haloalkanes. The characteristics reactions of the haloalkanes, halo group, and constitute a class of compounds known as haloalkanes. CH3Cl, chloromethane, C2H5Cl, chloroethane, C3H7Cl, chloropropane, etc. etc. Similarly, alcohols, methanol, ethanol, propanol, etc., which have an OH functional group added to ethane, methane, propane, etc. The characteristic properties of reaction, the characteristic properties and the reactions due to the addition of OH group shows alcoholic property. This a group, if we add OH to CH3, CH4, methane, it is methanol. If we add C2H6, it is ethanol. If we add C3H8, it is propanol, etc. etc. All these methanol, ethanol, propanol, etc. are grouped in a class of compounds known as alcohols. These are the functional groups, commonly used functional groups. First one is double bond. Carbon-carbon double bond is first one. It is known as alkene. General formula is CnH2n. We already studied about that. It's known as triple bond. It is known as alkyne. Then another one, haloalkanes. This X we added to the this X shows the hydrogen atom which we remove. That means here we add 3 hydrogen atom and add a chlorine here. This X shows this hydrogen atom that we remove, or the group atom we add to here. OH, alcohol group. ROH, this R shows the position of a carbon. Here 3 hydrogen atom, and replacing one hydrogen atom we add OH here. So we can write CH4 to CH3OH. CH3OH. Clear? Then aldehyde group. In aldehyde group, a double bond O from O carbon and a single bond H. That means we add a double bond O. This double bond is not shows the compound is alkene. This alkane itself, if we change the compound from alkane to alkene, the double bond should be carbon with a carbon. Ketones, only double bond O. It should be in middle. You can see the example. Should be in middle. If the carbon atom attached double bond to O didn't attach any hydrogen atom. Carboxylic acid group. OH is attached to the ketone group, or double bond O is attached to the alcohol group. Esters. These are the main functional groups we use in our daily life. Then we are going to discuss about the compounds of daily use. First one is alcohol. We already studied that alcohol is given by replacing one hydrogen atom and add OH group to this compounds, hydroxyl group, functional group. So the name, we just remove the final E. Methane. The final E is changed as oil. So methane is changed to methanol. Ethane is changed to ethanol. Propane is changed to propanol, etc. etc. Alcohol is a compound we use in our daily purpose, in medical purpose also. Methanol, CH3OH. Methanol is also called wood alcohol because it was earlier obtained by heating wood in the absence of air. It is prepared by heating carbon monoxide and hydrogen under pressure and by using a catalyst. CH3OH. It has many industrial uses. It is used in synthesis of acetic acid and many adhesives, fiber and plastics. It is also used an additive to petrol and also as a fuel. Ethanol is used as a fuel also. Ethanol is the commonly used alcohol. We used it in beer, wine, etc., etc., and also used in medicines. You may hear about tincture. Tincture is a mixture of iodine and alcohol. This is produced by the fermentation of carbohydrates such as glucose, starch, etc., etc., and present in grapes, barley, and also we can make alcohol by adding yeast to sugar. The property is known as fermentation. You may hear about fermentation and you studied in your previous class. It is used as a solvent for organic compound, used as a spirit, 95% ethanol. We are adding spirit, we can change anything to alcohol in desired quantity. Then aldehyde and ketones. IUP is the name of aldehyde by adding suffix al by replacing final e from alkane. Okay. For example, methane by changing e and add al, it is changed as methanol. Ethane changed as ethanol, etc. Methanol is known as formaldehyde and ethanol is known as acetaldehyde. By adding suffix ONE, we can add a ketone group, a double bond O. Ketone group is started only from propane. It should be at least 3 carbon atom for adding a ketone group. Just replacing E to ONE, we get ketone group. Formalin is acetone, propanone. Propanone is propane is changed to propanone by adding double bond O. It is known as acetone. Formaldehyde, formalin is used to preserve biological specimens. You may see biological specimens, the parts of human and other animals in lab, in hospitals, etc. They use formaldehyde or formalin to preserve all of this. Vanillin, which is used as a flavor, also has an aldehyde functional group. Acetone is used as a solvent and also in nail polish removers. Carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid is known as oic acid group. Carboxylic acid is known as acid group. Vinegar is an example of carboxylic acid. It is known as acetic acid. Acetic acid. The formula is CH3COOH. CH3COOH is the formula of acetic acid. It comes from C2H6. C2H6. This ethane is changed to ethanol by adding C2H5OH. Again, this ethanol is changed as ethanoic acid or acetic acid, C2H5 C2H3COOH, or we can write CH3 CH2OH, CH3 CH2 CH3COOH. All are same. Okay, this is known as acid group, acetic acid, carboxylic acid group. Formic acid is methanoic acid. Methane is changed to acid. This formic acid. Normally it contains an antibiotic. Butyric acid present in rancid butter. CH3, CH2, CH2, COOH. Lactic acid present in milk, sour milk, and produced in our muscles at the time of anaerobic respiration. We already studied that. These are the main compounds we used in our daily life. So this chapter is completing here. You can study in detail and you can ask any doubts to clear and ask me personally, and we can close here. We can start our next chapter now, next period.